Hey everybody, it's time for the yearly Tgbs update. We're going to be talking about the state of the channel, what to expect going forward, and perhaps maybe what not to expect too. The reason I'm doing this update now is because we finally finished everything promised the last time I updated you all. I announced after I made the Silent Hill 2 video that I'd be doing 6 major projects. The first was Road to the Rocket Launcher Resi Remake, the second was a retrospective, which of course was Killzone, and then 4 more videos which backers on Patreon got to vote on the release order for. Those were Overblood 2, Ratchet 2, Ninja Gaiden 3, and God of War Ascension. By the way, I am over the moon that I have a community that when asked what video I should do next, pick Overblood 2 first from that list. That means that we now have a new block of 4 major videos coming up next, the release order of which has already been chosen by the backers. For those of you who get disappointed when an upload isn't Road to the Rocket Launcher, I always put an RTTRL video in the voting pool, so one of these is definitely Resident Evil 0. So you should be getting to see that covered this year at least. It goes against my instincts to fully reveal what I'm working on in a public update like this. Just know they're gonna be very big projects that I think you're all gonna love. I know the backers said they had a hard time picking them. I guess I could drop some hints. There you go. Recently, I've been focusing on larger projects, and as I've said previously, big videos I've been foreshadowing for a long time. While I didn't get as many of these done as I wanted to in 2020, I think that just proved all the more that the only way I was going to get these videos out at all was if I stopped getting distracted by smaller video projects and concentrated fully on the big requested content. And I'm really happy with the channel at the moment, thanks to that decision. The releases have been a bit slower, but all the content I've been coming out with at the moment are the juicy, in-depth pieces I want my channel to be known for. Now that has meant I haven't been covering recent game releases on the channel. Frankly, I feel like my time is better spent analyzing games that have been out for a fair bit, where I've had time to really look over the title multiple times and unearth the most interesting aspects to talk about. While I've done videos on games at their release, some of which I am really proud of, usually those are the videos I end up feeling could have done with more time in the oven. There's always more to find in a game, and the more time you give yourself, the better. That said, I still have an itch for playing newer games, so as some of you already know, I put out exclusive 6 to 9 minute video reviews of more recent titles up on the Patreon for backers. These are scripted and edited videos, much like the content you see here on the channel, but are just small first thoughts on a recent game I've beaten. Usually I find that using famous real-world faces in a game at best doesn't enhance the experience, and at worst works against it by taking me out of things. But Cyberpunk might be an exception. Johnny Silverhand is a larger-than-life celebrity in the world of Cyberpunk, so using Keanu Reeves as his likeness kind of works in making us the player see Johnny as such. I say first thoughts even though I beat the games I talk about in these Patreon videos, because even if I cover them over there, maybe in a few years I'll end up doing a big 30-minute plus analysis over here on YouTube about them. Maybe I'll cover them after one playthrough on the Patreon, but somewhere down the line in a few years my opinion might shift on further inspection. We've covered the following games over on the Patreon, and there'll be more of these mini reviews coming soon as new stuff I'm interested in playing gets released. These are the kind of videos where I don't think I'm going to be dropping any groundbreaking takes I just need to share on YouTube with the whole world, clogging up the already oversaturated market of video reviews for new games. But if you're a big fan of this channel to the extent you're generous enough to want to support it financially on Patreon, then you're probably the kind of person invested enough in what I think about games to want to hear a few quicker takes on newer titles in addition to my lengthy critiques over here on the main channel. To recap, here's what you get on Patreon depending on your pledge amount. $1 a month gives you access to video production updates, so you always know how far along the next video is, as well as the Backlog with Brit playthrough Let's Play series. At the moment, we've been going through Dino Crisis, having a chill time, very classic YouTube kind of stuff. Like atmosphere like this, you know, it's no surprise people like this game. Classic. Oh my god, okay, the horns are the horns are starting to get on my nerves, okay. I like to do my inventory management with some nice save music. not this cacophony. $3 gives you access to all that, plus those aforementioned exclusive short-form reviews. And $5 lets you in on the voting to decide what videos will come out next every 4 major videos that are made. You'll also get access to video previews of content I'm working on for the channel. We've discontinued the name in the credits perk for various reasons, all of which have been detailed over on the Patreon. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully either way at any tier, you're still getting some nice bonuses for supporting. I always want to make sure I'm giving something back to those who keep this channel alive. Patreon is especially important for supporting the channel when I cover games that have mature content in them. Both the Ninja Gaiden 3 and God of War Ascension videos got relegated to showing limited ads because of the high levels of violence in those games. Thanks to Patreon, it's nice to not have to worry about that, to not have to censor all the clips in a violent games video to get around this. Obviously, if I can censor 1 or 2 clips to make my video devoid of mature visual content, as to not get limited advertising on said vid, then I will. But it's nice to know that I still have some backup if I'm talking about something like God of War or Ninja Gaiden, where every other clip is going to contain something explicit, and covering that up would mean censoring like the entire video. Now on to more disappointing news, for some perhaps. Some of the biggest videos on this channel, of course, involve Ratchet and Clank, and a lot of people have been asking if I'm going to cover the new Rift Apart title releasing very soon. The first full-length original non-spin-off Ratchet game in like a decade. And the answer is that I have no plans to cover it. So far from what I've seen of the game, it looks like it's going to be following in the footsteps of the Ratchet games I'm not a big fan of. And the thing is, I don't want to keep playing a series which clearly at this point is not being developed with me in mind. 1, because well, that's just a miserable thing to do. And 2, because I don't want to just be running behind a franchise which a lot of people are enjoying, a lot of those people being young people, complaining about the same things I've already complained about. That would kind of make me feel like a bit of a Grinch. The Ratchet series has adopted a style that I'm not into for longer now than it was ever the way I enjoyed it the most. And I've given every reason why I feel the way I do about it now. I just don't see a reason to keep reiterating if it's gonna stay on the same course it has recently. You know, I felt justified in comparing Ratchet 1 to the 2016 remake, because the original is one of my favorite games. But based on all my Ratchet videos, by now, I think you all have all the tools you need, really, to know if I'm gonna like a Ratchet game or not. So yeah, no plans for this one. Before I leave, I also want to highlight that we've been streaming over on
website unaffiliated with Google.
We've been streaming there multiple times a week, usually around the same time, and it's been a lot of fun. Playing classics and some new titles, speculating about recent gaming events, and of course, slowly becoming devout knackheads. So feel free to head over there and check it out, and consider stopping by when we're live sometime. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for sticking with me through the larger gaps between videos lately, and an extra special thanks goes out to anyone who is supporting on Patreon, or who has supported in the past. You keep this show going. I'll catch you all soon.